The following program is rated GE. It is suitable for general family viewing.
At what point does your emotional state change to warrant you to say, now I'm going to blossom? Because that's what I think it requires. It's from your stomach. It's your gut feel that tells you, now, this one I'm going to fight. You know, it's almost like a fight for life.
Yeah.
At what point, I would love to hear your story. At what point did you pivot to say, now enough of chilling?
Yes.
I need to get out of this chaos.
Exactly. And as you say, our genius and our best creativity, the most genius creativity that we have, it lies inside of us. And to the question that you had asked around all the noise around you, for me, being incarcerated and sitting still, I had myself. And that's what happens when you're in the midst of things, flowing with the flow, and in a world that celebrates, momentum, movement, the matrices of numbers. We don't have the luxury to sit still and hear ourselves. And I had myself. And, the higher the calling or the higher this thing that you want to do.
The bigger the challenge, the higher the calling.
And most essential is the clarity that will only come from you, because there's no manual that you will then come out of this thing and go reading. These are now the next steps. You are the one to shine the North Star, where we're going, how we're going, and how we're going to do this. And to your story, Mike, around reading about yourself in the newspaper. So at this time when I'm thinking...
Not positively, they've just...
Exactly. And you're in the...
done research.
And people are believing what they're reading in the newspapers. So I'm reading about myself in the newspapers, bank manager thief. Teresa Njoroge. And I'm like, that's me. And that's not true. And I want to say that, yes, there's that time to hibernate, be still, listen to yourself, hear yourself, and dig down deep inside to that creative genius of what you're about to do. But as much as there's that side of things, there's also knowing that it's in chaos that growth, you cannot just sit still and say, first and foremost, growth comes uninvited. It's not going to come and say, oh, you're going to be growing at this particular time. This is how you need to prepare. You will not be ready. And you know what? Do not wait for things all the ducks to be, in a row. Let me tell you, growth and success, it's knot by knot, pearl by pearl. That's how you do it. It won't come all well packaged together. Now it's the time for me to grow and, don't wait for when is Teresa feeling ready to now go and do what is in her. In the midst of the newspaper reporting, bank manager thief, in this chaos is when I'm also coming to say, this is my story. I did not steal. I was jailed wrongfully. And you know what? I'm establishing an organization called Clean Start Africa to give myself a clean start and the other millions of other women that you have jailed in there wrongfully. And this is how we're going to ride this chaos together. As you're reporting the negative news, here I am rewriting and in charge of the narrative. At the end of the day, truth does not need defending. It always comes on top. The genuine ingenuity, the genius that's in you, it will always come on top.
Wow. And that's how you started Clean Start Africa.
And that's how I established Clean Start Africa.
The core of your, you knew It was time. And it is an interesting conversation. I'd like really to speak to a little bit more as we move into that conversation. You know, when I met Sichangi, and I'm going to go to Olive shortly, when I met Sichangi, when we met in Mombasa,
Yes.
is it Diani? And then we sat sitting there, I'm wondering, this guy is telling me about events. I'm listening. And he told me about this event where he brought all these A-stars and everybody, and you guys are young, borrowed money from your parents, friends and family. You knew you were going to have this big concert.
Yes.
And then nobody showed. The artist never showed.
Yes.
And that, I thought, to me, was the way you recover. You told me how you had to recover. It broke your heart.
Yes.
And
Genuinely.
many people would have said, I'm never going to go to the event business again.
Yes.
Right? For you, what is that feeling? What made you? What is that thing? What is that emotion that triggered you? Was it ego to say, I'm going to prove to them? Was it a sense of purpose? I know what I'm doing. If things happen, was it encouragement from a third party told you, don't give up? What made you go back to that ring?
I think a phrase to put it would be, I didn't come this far to come this far. I think by the time I had reached the level of older individuals having the confidence in me at that age to give me that kind of money, or give me and my peers that kind of money, the work had started well before. And in a matter of hours, it was then undone. So I have a long life ahead of me. There's still, I think, room to pivot, as Olive was saying. So what is it that I want for myself? And recollecting all the times it had gone right, I think, gave us a better, give us a better frame of mind, in that there are so many things that we've done right up until this point. There's one thing that has gone wrong outside of our control. What should we change in our business, or what are the changes that need to be made for us to execute smarter and probably in a more profitable way? So I think some of it is like contracting. I think on the first episode you talked on trust. So that's a breach of contract that happened. So how do we contract better as entrepreneurs and as businesses? And that's one key takeaway, and that's the reason I call it a blessing, because today I sign ironclad contracts in all my businesses, because I've lost actual money out of errors that have happened before. Yeah.
Interesting. And that, I think, Olive, you see, you have ridden the wave in terms of, as you said, blossoms. You know, you're constantly riding the wave because you're in one business, you go to the next business, you go to the next business. It's interesting I would like to understand, and even all of us to understand, how do you know that it's time to pivot? How do you know it's time that I've exhausted where I am? I need to now make change. What is that thing in you that rings? Is it the kind of people you associate yourself with? Okay? Is it an inherent family thing that your family is entrepreneurial? You know, families could be entrepreneurial. And you see it from your family, or you see it from your spouse, and you say, is that correct? What do you think is that inherent DNA in you that keeps on making you see that opportunity and blossom? Because not many people can do it. Some people were going to do it 3 times, fail. Some people will let's go, we are moving. What is that thing about you? What did you say are the fundamentals that make you remain in that constant change of seasons?
So first, I believe, as you talk about fail, I believe that business people try many things, but then they never talk about the things that didn't work. They talk about the things that worked, right?
Yeah.
So somewhere along the way, we've tried many things. Some of them didn't work. You're like, okay, that one, but you fail fast and you fail quickly. So you're like, okay, so let's say you try to go into, I don't know, we did the merchandising thing for a little bit. I was not good at it. It was too hectic. When it comes to, you mentioned values, there's a lot of, in the advertising, there's a lot of money in that promo business, a lot. And there's also a lot of bribery. So I'm like, I'm just not good at this thing. Me, I can't. You're like, okay, so Olive, I need, just do the math. I need, we have a promotion for, let's say, give me a brand, a random mass market brand.
Yes.
Yeah. So
maybe bread or whatever. Yeah?
Yeah. So there's a promotion for this bread, right? And so we need 2 girls in every Taskies. How many Taskies are there in the country? Many. Well, it doesn't exist anymore. But so we need 2 girls in these 200 supermarkets every day, 5 days a week, and they'll be paid 3,000 bob a day, right? And you're taking your 500 shillings. So you're making 500 by 2, you're making 1,000 shillings from each shop every day, and there's 200, so you're making 20,000 shillings every day, 5 days a week for 2 months. As in, let me tell you, the numbers were fantastic. But then, because Mike is giving me that gig, he knows what those numbers look like. And he's saying, in fact, the client, his budget is 3K per chick, but these chicks don't know. So we just give them a G, we keep that 2 Gs. And then that 2 Gs, me and you, we take a G. Right? It's very simple mathematics. Everyone is happy. You go and buy a Range Rover tomorrow. So certain things, so there are many things that we try that are not particularly successful. And when you see they don't either align with your values, they don't align with your hustle, because I think it's a hustle thing. You're like, there's people have different types of hustles in them. And there's some things that I just can't do, right? So you pivot very quickly. So you don't dwell on it, or you try to do it you don't spend too much time trying to become a different type of person to make something work, right? But to answer your question, is when you find that one thing that works, you take that wave and you ride it as high and as fast as possible. The thing that has always drawn me to pivot to the next thing is first personal growth, because the person that I was when I was 19, starting my first business, is not the person I was when I was 25, going to do my image consultancy training. As an individual, I had grown. My values, I started thinking, how can I add value to the people around me? How can I help Teresa? As opposed to just making her look at fabulous fashion shows, how can I actually help her as a person? So as an individual, I was growing. And as I grow as an individual, I'm thinking, okay, how does my business grow with me? Because I think it got to a point where I quickly decided, since I'm an entrepreneur, this is the thing, so I may as well be good at it, right? And milk it for all it's got. My family is a family of professionals, by the way. My parents were doctors. My eldest brother is an engineer. My 2 brother and sister are lawyers. I was meant to be the doctor in the family. So then they're all professionals. But I sort of figured, so if I'm being an entrepreneur, let me be good at this thing, right? And they say a jack of all trades is a master of none, but is still better than a master of one. Isn't there? So then you continue growing. And as you continue growing, there's also a need to make more money, and to make money while you're sleeping. So like, okay, what else can I do to earn more income, to help us make more money? Because now you've put in systems, you've put in tools. I remember my first business, the modeling agency, our accounting was terrible. But then as you start the next business, you're like, this one, I'll do it better. You have your career, you have your career stuff in line. So as you grow, you're also getting more educated about how to do things and how to do them well, right? So you're like, okay, so I can do this and I can do it nicely. So now let me apply this knowledge to the next business. Then I remember during COVID, we tried 3 or 4 businesses. None of them worked. And you're like, okay, that's fine. We still have these 2 brands that are working. So it's okay. We continue talking about these ones that are working. The ones that didn't work, we take our learnings from them. We spent a lot of time, we spent a lot of money. I'm sure even you have like 5 or 6 biasharas that you tried. They didn't really go so well, but you're like, you know what, it's fine. You focus on Ponea, the successful one, right? So as you're growing, or as you're developing as an individual, now what we tried to do during COVID was, how do we automate this money-making thing? So that it's not print is, or rather media, you still have to put in work to get the returns. You have this big team, and media is expensive to run. So I'm like, okay, now I need something leaner. Something that can make money but not cost so much, because this making money is very expensive. And as media people, we've gotten burnt many times, people complaining on the internet that we're taking too long to pay them. It's happened to everyone, because cash flow in the media business is the worst. You need to pay for almost everything upfront, and agencies and clients will pay you in 90 days or even 120. It's terrible. I don't know how that business model became even an acceptable business model. But anyway, so it's really, I think to answer your question now, to wrap it all up, it was first personal growth. As you grow as an individual, your desire or the value that you want to give to society changes and matures with you. And then, of course, developing your avenues of making money. Yeah.
Interesting. And I think this also brings, it's going to be an interesting next 10 minutes, just talking about the country as a whole. Some entrepreneurs say it's my time to eat because it's my season to eat. So their way of blossoming is politically it's their time to eat. Yeah? Others say it was your time to eat. Is that correct? I've interesting people who tell me, in Uhuru's government, you are blue-eyed. I say, blue-eyed what? Hey, how did Uhuru being in government make a difference in my life? I did it because I was good at what I did, right?
Yeah.
So even if sometimes comments online, somebody says politically benefit. And I say politically benefit by who, how? I can't even understand what they're even talking about. So let's talk about the political season. And sometimes are there moments when you feel the energy in the country is for you or against you? It's an interesting question. When do you know that politically this time, the energy in the country is for me, I'm going to grow. And then at some point, some businessmen will say, founders will say, hey, let me go to a new market. So you find somebody in that period has gone to Congo.
Yes.
He's never even been to Congo in his life. He just said, hey, what have been in the Congo, man? And Congo, he's going to find himself there, and he has taken off. Some people have excelled globally because of just changing markets. Because the market, they know this place, if I stay, I'm over. Is that correct? So and it's interesting for you guys, how does the political season, like in your case, Teresa, you know what you went through. Sichangi, you're a young person, maybe I'm not sure how many political seasons you've seen.
Yes.
Regime.
Just one.
Yeah, one. Me, I've seen many. I've started Kibaki. No, I started Nyayo. Nyayo was at the tail end because I started 2000.
Yes.
So Nyayo, I had 2 years. But me, when I started 2 years, let me tell you, I just went to Rwanda. What?
Yes.
You could not do anything here.
Yeah.
I just went to Rwanda. So my first customer was in Rwanda.
Wow.
And I came here during Kibaki's time. We grew. And then during Uhuru's time, we went to Zambia, Nigeria, a lot of that kind of growth.
Yes.
And now we are a totally different realm of how I think we need to be doing what we're trying to do. We're trying to think digital businesses where you create global IP that you can sell to other markets. So if I'm talking to a customer in Congo, I'm talking to a customer in Philippines, it's not nothing to do with the country. Whether or not the political regime support me or not, I'm really not interested. If
Yes.
they do. It's good, it's great. If they create for us economic structures that work for us, then it's great, the country grows.
Yes.
You see also you're maturing and also realizing sometimes your seasons of growth and hibernation could be country driven.
Yeah.
Yes.
See? For you guys, how has it been?
I think probably because you challenged me. From really inspecting politics, it's just the consensus of the general public. I think as a country, we went through a period in which last year, where the Gen Z were being challenged, and a more mature audience or decision makers became alive to a whole age bracket that was previously never considered in the making of enterprise decisions. So a lot of the large corporates never used to market to that age group. Even from a decision-making perspective, politicians never used to go and campaign to that age group. And now they become alive, they become aware of this whole new bracket that they need to cater to. And that then becomes a large opportunity for you as an entrepreneur, because they don't understand this demographic. They need somebody to be able to translate to that language. Somebody who understands what do these people want. Because frankly, I don't get it from where I am as a 40-year-old decision maker in my ivory tower.
40-year-old, no, still like 55.
55-year-old decision maker, and even leave 55, even just say mid-management, marketing manager of a brand in a brewer somewhere. I don't understand how to sell to this demographic.
Kids.
And that now can become a whole agency business that you can make. Mine is just to translate what these people are saying or what it is they want, and packaging it for the people who have the spending power to come and let's say spend money in my marketing agency or in my advertising agency, because that's what my specialty is. I'm part of that demographic. So you might not experience many regimes, let's say Kibaki, Moi, Uhuru, but once you see a gap in the market, or you see there's a place in which you can add value by, let's say, clarifying perspectives or distilling your point of view, then it becomes an opportunity for you to, let's say, milk, or it can be really lucrative, or people will spend big money on you or on your perspective. Yeah.
I think first and foremost, it's very unfortunate that from a political perspective, it's these people's time to eat, it's these other people's times to eat, because it's affecting the country at large adversely in very different ways. So it's very unfortunate that even you will thrive based on who are you aligned with in government, and is it now your time to eat? Is it not your time to eat? And when they're not in power anymore, you're no longer thriving. It's a very unfortunate environment, and it's my sincere hope and prayer that Kenya will get from those kinds of politics to, a scenario whereby we're here to grow and serve Kenya. And I truly love what I'm hearing about the upcoming maandamano for Ibrahim Toure, because of the incredible work that he's doing in Burkina Faso. But closer now to the work itself, of course, different regimes, like currently we are in a lot of debt. So therefore, government will do whatever needs to be done to collect taxes for us to then be able to service this debt, and so on and so forth. It affects you also when it comes to policies and laws. In my sector, we really have to look at, is this the time for us to make the progressive laws? Is this the time for us to hibernate because the progressive laws will not be accepted or have sponsors during this regime based on what are their values? For example, when you're using the criminal justice system to punish people who stand against your views, then that's not the right time to come and start saying, these are the progressive laws I want to bring into the country. You're standing in the way of that particular regime's style of leadership. So you also have to take those cues. And the world now, we're borderless. If it's not working, again, because success is a lot more to do with timing in addition to all the other things that contribute to the success of a business. So again, understand the times and seasons and say, probably it's not my time right now in Kenya, but I will flourish in Burkina Faso or in South Africa or wherever else. Act local, serve local, but in the grand scheme of things, think continental-wise, global-wise, because, again, we're not producing or coming up with services just for a local market. I think we're way past that now. It's time to ride on all the incredible steps that have been taken by the people who came before us and ask ourselves, what's the next level that I'm taking this thing to, So case in point for us and the work that we do around women empowerment or systemic change and reforms within the criminal justice system and other agencies that are conjoined to that, you've got to ask yourself, what are the wins that have already been achieved by people who are there before? So where is it sort of do an audit that helps you understand what is the next level? What's the next level we can take this game to? And people sometimes fear, and we've talked about failure here. Failure is just communication. And when you're doubting, it's good communication to you that you're in the right space because you're not sitting in the comfort zone, So, you know what? I think, yes, gauging political-wise, what kind of a season, what kind of regime do we have? Also think to yourself, what other markets can you serve if the current one is not favorable to what you're currently doing? That's how I'd look at it.
But I see that also, it's a great way and it's a great conversation because that really, you have to be bold. I think the first thing is bold.
Yes.
And also realize that you don't have to live and die in the country you're born.
Exactly.
Like this thing, I'm going to die here with me and there's no other way. I think we, especially talking to younger people, and Sichangi and also people like Olive, and even what you're doing, Teresa, trying to look at ourselves as our platforms, having built your businesses in Kenya, and realizing that you can replicate what you're trying to do globally.
Exactly.
Now, when I started my business, you have to have a server room, you have to have email. There's so much you have to do To set up a business, hey, it used to be a lot of work. Today, let me tell you, you can set up a business. You can go to Amazon Cloud. You can build a data center globally. You can have your data seated globally.
Yeah.
You can have engineers seated around the world.
Yeah.
You can do AI. You can create a financial system that pays you, that doesn't have to sit here.
Yeah.
You can set up a company in Dubai. You can set up in Mauritius, a company in Mauritius without even having set up in Mauritius. Your IP can be owned globally. There's so much you can do today.
You can set up a whole business, 2 people sitting
Two
at
people.
home.
You don't have to worry anymore.
You don't have to go anywhere.
So I think that's something also that we need to start appreciating.
Yeah.
Yes.
That the world has been given you a much larger platform for you to operate under,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So when it started for me, I think giving an example, when I went through this whole government termination of my contract, I'm thinking like, oh my God, like how can they do this? 200 something people on a project, it's life changing for the country. How do their people operate like this? This is a project that would have been significantly transformation of the country. Today I'm seeing them running around Shashi, whatever. I'm not thinking, I just wish they'd done the project I told them.
Yes.
This project would have saved the country significantly. Then COVID found us when the project was meant to have been almost completed. So we would have easily transformed the country from a healthcare transformation point of view. More than earlier, we'd have done it a long time ago. Now every day I'm seeing project, systems, transformation. That's something we started doing in 2017-18. But then I told myself, okay, now what is this? I'm trying to help this country. It helps me. We grow together. See,
Yeah.
now where are we now? I'm losing.
Yeah.
They've not gotten anything.
Yeah.
They've been unable to do the project. They've never done it anyways. 5 years later, they still never did it. Our new government is trying to do it. It's another very challenging project. I know how complex that project is to do. It will be such a complex project to do. Because it takes the heart and soul of, to do a project like that requires a mental transformation of individuals in the whole healthcare sector. So I told myself, okay, my next business, I'll never allow myself to ever be here again. So when I took my recess, just thinking about the situation, how do I deal with this situation? I've lost so much money. Do I sue these people? Do I sue them? How do I operate here? Are they going to pay me? Some people are arguing, even if you sue them, they'll never pay you anyway. So you're wasting your time. But I'm thinking it's out of principle.
Yeah.
It's not out of money. It's out of principle.
Yeah.
Because we own this. If I don't do it, there'll be a problem.
Yeah.
Because even in my own mental state. So in your recovery, as you said, in your hibernation, you think, now as you come, you realize COVID comes. Hey, geez, COVID has come. Hey, there's an opportunity here. There's an opportunity, technology we can use, we can build. And I told myself, I will build a business that even intellectual property can be globally in a country that can help me and protect me as I build intellectual property. Where is that? You look for a country. Before you realize the internet is there, you have lawyers globally, they help you set up. Before you realize you've built technology that can be reused at a global level. That brings me to the question to you, Olive, in terms of how do you retrospect? What makes you get into a pre-mortem stage? Because post-mortem is easy. You kick the bucket down there, the road, you can post-mortem uko mbele, sio? But what gets you to get into a pre-mortem? What is it? Is it something you've created as a natural way to do that? Is it you wait for Christmas and say, now it's New Year, I need to go sit somewhere with a piece of pen? What makes you get into that mode? And I'm coming to you guys for the same question. What gets you into that thinking mode?
I normally feel, so I'm a very unsettled person. I'm always thinking what's next. I'm never satisfied. They say the weird thing about having dreams and visions is no sooner do you achieve your goals than you're on to the next one, trying to achieve the next one. So I'm that person who's always trying to see what the next big thing is, right? And sometimes I think that's a good thing, and it could also be a bad thing, because maybe if I stayed longer in one place, I could unpack some of these businesses a bit more, but then I'm busy sort of moving around, right? So I'm always trying to figure out what's next. And I think even as I'm in whatever business it is, so for example, as I'm working as an image consultant, and I have all these other skills, as an individual, I'm like, what else can I do with these skills that I have? Because when you're not training, you're really not doing much. You're not developing much content, right? You have your content, it's there. So when you're not training, you're knocking on doors, you're prospecting, you're pitching. But then after that, it gets exhausting. And there's a type of brain that requires multiple challenges. So I'm one of those people. If you're focused on one thing, you easily get bored. You almost even get lazy and sort of ambivalent, for lack of a better word. So that said, you talked about COVID, and that also reminded me about how we got into what we're launching next. Sometimes, even when COVID happened, the things we did during COVID, oh my goodness, people are coming to our office, to the Couture house. They thought we were mad. They're like, are you people not aware that there's COVID? I'm like, no, we have a bubble. This is our bubble. We shot, did you guys hear about something called Nyambane's Kitchen?
Yes.
We shot Nyambane's Kitchen during COVID. We started doing some fintech startup during COVID. Like, my brain doesn't allow me to stop for whatever reason. In fact, I'm one of those people who you stop when you get sick. Like, your body's like, Olive, now. I'm sorry, Deuces, I'm taking a break for 5 days. You can continue doing whatever it is that you're doing. And so, as you said retrospect?
Yeah.
So you're moving as you're retrospecting for the next thing. So you have this thing working, but then you're also thinking, what else can we do at the same time? Because I believe that as individuals, we are so multi-talented and multifaceted that if you're to use your 18 hours of a day doing constructive things, I know that was before family came, right? So I had very many hours to dedicate to work only. If you're to use your 18 hours of a day doing constructive things, there's so much you can do. Even when you're out having drinks. My out having drinks is networking and hustling and seeing what gigs we can get, not having drinks for the sake of having drinks. So that's sort of the mindset and the brain I've always had, which I think is a fantastic thing. Yeah.
Interesting. So for you, I think you've engaged your mental state on a continuous basis. So for you, you're always on drive.
I'm always on drive. until baby came, then I had to stop.
Baby. So that you see.
That's when I had to stop by force. And I was so confused and shocked. I was like, wait, what? Because now the brain actually stops working, right?
So like, for you, the baby you was an interesting conversation we're about to have about around women and mothers and founders. And when you have families, and sometimes as you bring up families, that becomes your priority. And as a founder, a little bit, you're forced by circumstance to stay back. So for you, interesting, you said you're always on drive.
Always.
So constantly your mind is alert to opportunities, I guess.
Yes.
And those opportunities then give birth to the next set of opportunities. And Sichangi, for you, one of the things I'd like to also look at is when you think about guys, the Gen Zs, for instance, and I don't want to keep referring to them as Gen Z, but looking at the younger entrepreneurs and founders who one day are going to be listening to us and thinking, oh, wow, what are these guys talking about? What can we learn from them? When I was younger, what happened? I never could take no. Like I said, I have to keep ramming this thing like a bull until we break the door. And sometimes, you injure yourself.
Yes.
You do that.
Yes.
You don't know at what point to say, hey, this one, I think I have pushed it too far and I need to sort of just take a back step.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe the season is not for me,
Yes.
right? How do you know when you're throwing good money into a bad cause? Yeah, when you realize, to be honest, here, I need to change course.
I think a major thing that you spoke to was reduced barriers to entry. You said starting a company, putting up a website, having a landing page, even speaking to customers is relatively affordable. So as entrepreneurs, I believe we follow our intuition quite a bit. So we have a gut feeling.
Yeah.
But before throwing a lot of money into something, can your intuition be backed by empirical data? And that then helps you scale the right ideas. Because sometimes, as I think Olive said, we have ideas come to us even in our sleep.
Yeah.
You're in the middle of sleeping and you actually have to wake up to take notes.
Write it down quickly.
Yeah. But is this an idea that actually adds value to the market, or does it add value to me in the sense of my portfolio of I think this would be a good thing to do? So that data then helps you discern or decide. So the reduced barriers to entry means it's quite cheap for you to test it, have empirical data, and then scale what actually works. And it's something which in my personal journey I think I suffered from. You think that having a team of 20 people, of 10 people you'd rather have a team of 3 people who are doing the work as opposed to a team of 20 people who are not. And that then becomes, I think you refer to it as keeping up with the Joneses. in the digital media space, there's a thing of instant gratification. I want to be known as a billionaire entrepreneur tomorrow. Tomorrow shouldn't end without me. And it's a thing of ego that you're saying. And it goes back to what I was saying in the beginning of self-assessment. So am I doing this for the right reasons? And what is your purpose? What is your why? What is the reason I'm actually doing this thing? And if you do it from the right place within yourself, then you're able then to make better decisions. Of this what the data is telling me, so that's not the right thing to do. So a good example would be in entertainment. I can book the most expensive artists in the world and have them here in the country tomorrow. But if it's not profitable because of the economic season we're in, people don't have disposable income to pay for the biggest artists in the world right now. So it's not the right time to do it. But because of my ego, no, I want to be seen next to this person. So I'll pay them a lot of money, go and raise, and because also investors typically are greedy. If I say I'm bringing this person to the country, they'll be like, I know that artist, here's the money in fact. However, now a good name is worth more than silver and gold. Am I putting good investment opportunities into the market as an economic entrepreneur? I think then this becomes all of the things that we then assess, or you're able to learn, or a muscle you're able to build, the more you exercise putting things into the market, putting things online. Yeah.
And I think that's an amazing way, the way you said in terms of, so you're fast to fail, or you're failing fast.
Yes.
For you then is easier because you can quickly fail without significant investment upfront, which is great. And also pivoting, A/B testing also becomes easier. And I think this then comes to Teresa in terms of, when you retrospect and you think the company Clean Start, okay? Clean Start, great name. When you look, so it means, and I've read a little bit about your business, I've before I came here, and I've spent time understanding and talking to you. When you think about Clean Start, and you think about retrospectively, what now, once you had the confidence and say you're going to grow this, are there moments you've had doubt? Because it's a big challenge you've taken on.
Yeah.
You're a social entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You know, so sometimes in funding your business, the mechanisms of funding a business, social entrepreneurship is very different from your business and my business, the way you look at the financial model.
Yeah.
So you can't one day, how do you keep yourself going, knowing very well, maybe the regime of the day is working for me, maybe it's not working for me. Maybe I need to keep this going, it's my brand. This ideation is big, this idea is big. It's me who built it. I cannot quit on it. It's almost like a baby.
Yeah.
You cannot like abandon the baby. It's your baby. Like, how do I abandon this situation? If I abandon the baby, I'm going.
Yeah.
How do you keep that energy?
Yeah.
And knowing you still have to take a time when you need to retrospect and say, it's noisy.
Yeah.
The team around me wants me to grow. I know this is the wrong time. I know I need to convince them, but I still have to keep the engine running.
Yeah.
How are you balancing that whole equation?
It's not easy. That's the true answer. And especially as a mother, so you've got two babies. You've got this social enterprise that you've set up, and then you've got your children who do not have another mother. So you cannot drop. These are two glass balls that you cannot afford to drop. And none has a manual, and very unique. Fundraising to keep the enterprise going, because the impact, the metrics that you're using to measure growth, or the metrics that you're using to show success, are very different from the normal way you do business, bottom line. The metrics are very, very different. And it's literally eating your very soul. You're paying the price with your life, to keep this vision going, because you believe in this vision, and there's no one else doing it who you could even sit down and compare. And, I remember one time someone asking me, in Kenya we have got a very horrible term for incarcerated persons, or people who have been impacted by the justice system. And they were like, kwa hivyo sasa unatuuzia mahabusu. And you're sitting there thinking, my gosh, what is it that I do? You get into a room of funders, and they're expecting to hear something sexy, something like climate change, climate justice, something like, come on, environmental something, or some innovation. But here you are, bringing a very unsettling, people are just not comfortable with the service you offer, the dream you've got. But at the end of the day, I believe in what I believe in, you've got the money, and this exchange has to happen. Bottom line, at the depth of the depth of the depths, it's you. Bottom line, it's you. And that's who you're selling. You, your dream, and your vision. And then the few people who have bought into it, and I was listening to you, Mike, and I was hearing this conversation around, you've trained all these people, and then voila. How about you've trained all these people, and you've been fighting for a constituent that at some point tells you, and by the way, you're not fighting enough for us, or you're not serving us the best way we would have loved to be served. And you're thinking to yourself, there's nothing else that I have that I could give. So I think sometimes people see the glam and the success, but they do not know the cries and the pain and the price and the sacrifice that you have to put in to get there. It's consistency, number one. Every single day showing up, even though you don't feel like. I love seeing the transformation of a woman who was completely hopeless, had absolutely, they do not have a tomorrow. But because of Clean Start Africa's intervention, they've transformed and bloomed, and we've turned around not just a family, but an entire generation. I love to see that. I don't love sitting in long flights, going to look for funding abroad, and I'm away from my children. I don't love that. And I think when people say, look for something you love and you'll never have to work for a day. Let me tell you something. There are things you will love about what you do. There are things you will not love at all. I wish funding would be readily available in Kenya, and I didn't have to go fundraising in markets that don't even know why they're investing in a different market that's not even taking care of their own. So it's consistency. Even when you don't feel like it, it's building trust. We talked about trust. It's them trusting that even though you've been branded on one end as a thief, that's not who, it's building trust. Trust with the funders, trust with your constituents, trust with your government, that you're not here to unleash whatever corruption it is that they're having. You're having to build trust on a day-to-day basis. But then also it's knowing that what I am building is not just about the numbers. It's not just about the transformation. Am I whole as I build this? Because, Mike, 10, 20 years down the line, I'll have grown older. My children will have grown older. Will I be happy with the sacrifice that I offered to build this thing? Or will I get down the line to regret that, yes, I'm happy with what I've built, but I am not happy because of what I've ended up losing? So it's those moments of hibernating and asking yourself, okay, I've come this far. Am I proud of what I'm building? And am I building it wholesomely? Am I whole in this? Because sometimes we get there, but end up losing some parts of ourselves. Or will I be comfortable with what I had to lose? You've got to keep asking yourself that question over and over and over again, and doing that audit. Because, Mike, it's your life in the arena as much as it's the business.
Mm-hmm. You've talked about, very interesting and very passionately, you talked about, and it keeps popping up in my mind, value system. When you leave your house every day and what you're doing is against your value system. I need to feed my family, I need to give investors return, but it's against your value system. I think it starts eating into your mental health.
Yeah, it does.
And not just to move into mental health. And I think the challenge of, and I think it's going to be a topic by itself in mental health later, but I just want to touch mental health with the issue of Blossom and the issue of when to hibernate. And I'll give you a story. For me, let me give you a story. So So when I got this project with government, I had like 200, 300, whatever employees. So think about a whole building, many people. You've convinced them to leave their jobs. Some of them Europe, some of them working for hospitals. Because you need all this workforce.
Yeah.
Diverse work for doctors, technology people. And all of a sudden, you're calling for meetings. You're writing to the person in charge of the minister. We need to have these meetings. They're not ignoring. They're ignoring your letters. But how many people do you have there waiting? 200 plus. So now, so you're leaving the house every morning, okay? So you're driving. You have to drop the young man to school. So that journey is 1 hour. It's a very long journey. You're thinking, okay, I have to drop this guy in school, okay? From here, I'm going to go to the office, and there are going to be all these people waiting for me. And they're professionals.
Yeah.
They're on your pay. And to be honest, even them after 2-3 months, they're receiving money, but they're realizing this money is not even worth, because what am I doing? Yeah. We're not moving forward. But you're in a 747, you got a project to execute, you knew you had to fly from here to China, and now the 747 is taking off. In the middle of it taking off, you're thinking, do I drop these passengers? Do I drop who? What do I do with this 747? It's fully loaded with fuel. What do I do with this 747? You're not hit cruising altitude. What do you do with this 747? Jeez. Do I crash it? I can crash it. I'll die also. Do I drop some passengers? You cannot. They'll die also. And the day you put that 747, you say, you're meant to be going to China, and you start saying, let's land in Khartoum. Getting that plane off that runway will never happen. So you're thinking, what do I do? Do I just glide? Then I tell some people to drop off. And then you think, do I hibernate? Do I chill? You see, mental health can come in multiple ways. Yeah. You're thinking to yourself now, what am I supposed to do in this situation? You get my point? So how do you manage mental health? To me, I remember for a very long time, I used to go to the office, I look at guys, we have coffee, you go for a few meetings, you're given a little bit of bullshit by people. You listen, what are you saying again? That you can do what? How? They want to cooler your money. You listen, no, I'm not partaking to this idea. I'm sorry. Then you realize you're just going round. And you're going to this power source, you realize this one has power but doesn't really have power. This one has implied power on paper but really cannot do anything. And you're chasing your tail. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you're thinking maybe I should just ditch this 747. I just tell people, ready, let's ditch it, let's move. Maybe hibernation means we crash this thing. Sometimes hibernation means destroy everything. When you say if we destroy, we may die. We don't know where this thing will end up, right? Because then what happens when you destroy it? Yeah. So I don't talk about mental health. How do you deal? At what point do you know that this is becoming too much? At what point do you know you're not strong enough to deal with the challenge ahead of you? At what point do you know here, even sometimes, at what point do you know that the opportunity you're about to embark on, because Olive is more on the positive side of 2020. At what point, Olive, do you know that this opportunity, I need to take a chill pill a bit. I just need to chill and internalize if I can take on this opportunity. Because even big opportunities can be very dangerous. Yep. That may have learned the hard way. If you come and tell me, take an opportunity, I say, hold on. I look at this, I know let me take a back step and evaluate. Yeah. I'm not going to say yes. I'll say, hold on. How do you know for you mentally and for mental health purposes, how do you keep yourself sane? Because too much success can make you go crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
And the reverse can also happen, right?
That's true. So first, I think for you to be a successful entrepreneur, and not a business person, an entrepreneur, the person who creates value from nothing, right? That's the difference, I think, between an entrepreneur and a business person. For you to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to be a little bit delusional.
True.
You have to look at the world through rose-colored glasses. You see things in ways that other people don't see it. If you tell people your thought, and so I don't talk a lot about what's going on in my head. Because if I say it out loud, guys will look at me like I have lost my mind. Yeah. And then they'll start making me doubt myself. And I don't need that negativity. It's not negativity. It's not intentional negativity. Yeah. But I'm like, you know what? Just leave me and my delulu by myself. Yes. I know where I'm going. It's fine. And then if it doesn't work, it will work. cautious optimism, right? Is what we call it. Cautious optimism in that don't put all your money behind it thinking it's going to work, because if it doesn't work, you don't want to lose all your money. But at the same time, a little bit of delusion is required. One of my things, when I don't know what to do, I don't do anything. So when you don't know what to do, do nothing. If you're faced with a challenge and you're not sure, do I go? Is this go time? Is it not go time? Do we wait? Who do we bring in? I'll sit on it for a little bit. I'll let it marinate. And I'll let the people who have been impatient be impatient. And I'll let the people who are willing to wait. I'll just like sit on it. I'll sit on it till, you can also tell how long you can sit on something. That 747 of yours, you know that it can be over here in stasis for 2 days or for 2 weeks or for a year. So I'll push it to the brink. I'll be like, I'm going to leave this to see how far it can go. And somewhere in between, I find that things always fall into place. The people who are meant to be there come. The people who are not meant to be there go. Yeah. Like things, the universe just settles itself.
True. That's significant optimism.
Yeah.
I like it.
It is.
Yes.
Because when you do nothing, everyone panics.
Yes.
When you're doing nothing. And then you're doing nothing, but you're very chill. Like a duck. You're very chill. Over here on top, you're looking very put together, but underneath the water, you're paddling like a mad person, right? So you're very chill. But you're observing and looking at the different partners and players to see how they're reacting to the nothingness. And then that's when they also start showing their cards in advance of. Because if you're busy reacting, as much as they say, I'm go, sometimes you just need to not react. You just need to not go. And then you see, okay, that person who's expecting me to chase them, they live and wonder, okay, she's not chasing. Okay. That other person that is trying to con you, they're like, has she shikad my plan? Has she not shikad? Like, what? How come there's nothing happening? So people start doing things by themselves because they're overthinking. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right?
It's a psychologically smart way.
So that's what I tend to do. When you don't know what to do, do nothing. But then there's only for a certain amount of time. But it's all situational. So, in this situation, it's an event. That event is happening in a week. This guy is about to cancel. And there's nothing you can do whether he cancels or not, right? So what do? Do you wait for him to cancel? Do you cancel it in advance of, there's very many choices that you have to weigh. Don't make that decision immediately. Give it 2 days. See, he's going to cancel in a week. So give it 2 days or 3 days. See how much time do you have to play with this idea before you have to make a hard call. So I push it to the extreme brink before I actually do have to make a call. And in terms of mental health, I think I don't know if it's the way I was brought up or just chance or fate, I tend to intentionally keep myself as grounded as possible, right? I tell people I'm an introvert and they don't believe me, but I'm a very big introvert. So I think because my work keeps me very social, so in my free time when I'm not working, I'd like to keep to myself, thinking, reading, personal development, exercising, just binging on Netflix, whatever it is to just ground my head and my thoughts, right? And also having your 2 or 3 people that you can go and tell them who will not judge you, because it's important to be able to have people that you can talk to who will not judge you and say, well, let me tell you, kume umana, uko Couture, let me tell you what is happening. And I don't know what to do. So as I'm doing nothing, I'm just can I just sit here and rant and unpack? Because also as you're ranting to a non-partisan third party, you're thinking out loud. Isn't it? So you just sit there and you tell them, so these are the challenges, this is what's happening, this is the drama at the office, because there's always drama. My life is not at all go, but I like to think I have selective amnesia. I don't focus on the negative. Yes. I don't focus on the negative. I go with the things that are working, right? So during that time of doing nothing, find someone that you can unpack to, think out loud to, someone who will not judge you, someone who will give you a safe space, someone who will not give you solutions. Literally, if you can talk to your cat, but let that cat be a human being who will nod and respond the way you're nodding and responding to me, right? And then in that process, you're thinking out loud and you're able to find that in your sleep, you'll get some epiphany about what to do with that situation. I'll be like, I know how I'm going to get Mike to sign that contract. I know how I'm going to get so-and-so to retract whatever order they have sent to me. I know how I'm going to deal with that person over there, right? So sit on things, because we're always in a hurry. We're always reactive, right? Sit on things, that's the most important thing. And then I think also and this might happen to our young man here, when you're a visible entrepreneur, and when I say visible as a brand, people see you. For whatever reason, my brand became very visible very quickly. Maybe it's because of the media, and I was in the media, and I used media channels to promote my business because I didn't have marketing budgets, right? So I think when you achieve success very quickly, it also messes up with your mind. It's almost like those child stars. You know, everyone's like, where are they now?
Yeah.
And when you're young, you're very bold. You make bold decisions, and I'm learning. In fact, you said something when you started, how you made very bold decisions when you were younger. So as I'm growing older, I'm realizing I'm becoming more cautious, which I think is a bad thing. I hate it. But I can't help it. I'm not overthinking. I'm moving slower. I'm analyzing things more. And I'm like, okay, so it's a good thing because on the one part, there's wisdom that I'm supposed to be adding to the decisions that I'm making. But then I'm like, but before your Midas touch, whatever you touch turns to gold. You don't overthink things. Then it doesn't work. You drop it like a hot potato, move to the next. Like, moving really, really fast. So you start moving a little bit slower as you grow older. You start becoming more cautious. And when you get success, especially visible success very early, now that fear of failure becomes very real because you're like, where? What the day I anguka, and I've angukad once or twice, but I've telezada once or twice, and guys are like, we knew that would happen. So it's like people are waiting for you to fail. It's like, and Kenya, there's a thing about Kenyans. They tend to celebrate failure more than they celebrate success, which is very unfortunate. So people are watching you, not watching to see how much higher can you go. They're watching you to see when is that time when she's going to fall. That time you've telezada, like, she hasn't angukad. Damn it. Okay, next time she'll angukad. So it plays with your psyche a little bit. And that becomes a moment of hibernation, I think, for you to just sort of internalize and realize that your success is for you alone, it's for you and your family alone. The things that you're trying to achieve are, yes, for the world, because of course the goods and services that you provide are to benefit the people around you. But then when it comes to the vanity or the ego of success, you need to find a way to release it because it comes to you very early. And so you need to find a way to, how do I put this? You need to find a way to detach yourself from the ego of success,
Exactly.
which becomes very difficult if it happened to you by chance when you were very young.